for what he has. He says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the center. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe.
ask you something? I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?
All right, let's start integrating everything. Turning me off. Where's it at? Right there. Right there. What's happened, Dr. Sinister? Nope, nope. Thank you for joining. PJ Allen, thank you for joining. Oh, that's too much. Jamar, thank you for joining. Macio, thank you for joining. Oh. All right. Thank you for joining, everyone. Not a lot we can say about the game tonight. This last game, it's funny. You can see from the very beginning the effort. Like when a team loses, you can at some point the lack of effort shows up, and I think that's what we were able to see. I mean, we're clearly able to see when the lack of effort happened during the game. So, yeah. Oops. So that's I don't know. I don't know. It's sometimes it's like they don't want to make it like they make the games bad on purpose. I guess that's the way it is. It's like they almost, and especially for Golden State, it's almost like they don't know how to script it for them all the time. Because remember when they had their original run a few years ago, Golden State they had to do the blowouts. The only way they would having them win the year before they won the 72 games, that first year, the games were over in the first quarter. That's how they did it up until and past the All-Star game. Like the games were so out of hand because he done took a shots from half court. He'd take 2 dribbles and shoot and was going in, getting fouled. So it seems like that's the only way they can script the game for Golden State. It was interesting because it was just, you can't really say the effort was there all the way around for the Timberwolves. At least it did not seem like that to me. So, now maybe some of y'all saw it a little different, but that's what it appeared like to me. Wow. All right. So, we did have 2 deaths today. Let me look that up. We had 2 deaths. Was it on the 4th? On May 4th, 2023. Yeah, right here. Okay. Couldn't remember the cat's name. What's this cat's name? I don't remember this guy. Guy's a little younger than me. Where am I at? It's got me all over. Oh, let's go here. Let's put his name in. Lance. Yeah, right here. Right here. Here we go. Oh, they want you to buy it. Okay, I don't have to buy it. I'll find somebody else that has it. Yeah. What is this? Let's go this. Yeah, why didn't it bring this up? That's okay. Not related at all. All right. Let's see. Maybe right here. All right. Oh shoot. Let's look at that again. All right. Today, Lance Banks, former NBA player and executive, dies at 56. Lance Banks, who played NBA for 3 seasons and later worked as a scout and a front office executive, has died, his family announced. He was 56. Banks died in Dallas. His family sent a statement distributed by the NBA. He was a former general manager of the Phoenix Suns. Wow. Assistant general manager of the Cleveland and a scout for San Antonio and most recently the Clippers. He played for the Pistons, who drafted him in the first round in '90, and he played at the Timberwolves. I did not know he played here. Lance was a light for all those who knew him. NBA Joe Dumars' teammate said it's been a privilege to have him called. Okay. Let's see if I can find this. NHL. So he was 56. Let's see. NHL. Seems like Daily Lines. Let's see if it's there. No. It is not. Going to have to look somewhere else. Right there. Because there was, let's see if I can, well, let's see, because there was, let's see. Whoops, May 4th. I saw his name. Let me see. Oh, right here. Okay, this is it. This is it. This is it. Let's see. Can I get it right here? Yeah, right here. Yeah, right here. Yes, right here. All right, this is a former player, Penguins forward Potter Kilma dies at 58. He was the first player from the Czech Republic, I believe, that defected to play in the National Hockey League. Stanley Cup winner with the Edmonton Oilers in '90. I believe that was with what's his name that played later for the Kings. He was 58. The news announced by H.V. Livnov, the Czech club where he started his career in 82 through 81-82 season, and by Cunningham, where he previously worked as general manager. The cause of death is not given. Linwood said the news, great pain in his heart. Kilmer immigrated from communists. Yeah, see, communists. He defected 4 years before the collapse, so he actually defected. Czechoslovakia was still, part of the Iron Curtain. And 700, look at the numbers. Then 786 games, 13 seasons, right winger scored, you see, 313 goals and 260. He netted another 28 times with 24 assists and 95 playoff games. He played for the Detroit Red Wings, the Oilers, Tampa Bay Lightning, Los Angeles Kings, and the Penguins. That means he's a journeyman. The NFL mourns his announcing. So they said that, I guess this is his biggest moment was, they said his triple overtime winner from the right circle in the opening game of the 1990 final against the Boston Bruins, one of the first iconic in Oiler history. 33 years ago today on May 4th. Do you dig this? 32 years ago on May 4th, this guy just happened to score a hat trick to contribute to a 7-2 victory over Minnesota. Wow, 32, May 4th. Wow. He played 28 games for his country, scoring 10 times. He was Czech team, the 84 Cup, and he has some family. So, I mean, what we see, we see the Green Reaper is ready. It needs to be paid. And I'm sorry I didn't say I'm drinking water today. So pop them if you want them, or pop them if you got them. And I'm still going to do the Luca. Smoke them if you want them. And so we see people sacrifice for basketball. We see people sacrifice for football. And, it can't be, you can't really deny this. You can't look at this and say, well, this doesn't, it's a consequence. It's a, it's not that. It is a planned event that pays for the ritual that we're seeing. The price of fame, just because he went somewhere else, didn't go away. They can get you wherever you go. So, and both of them, one was both 56 or both around 55, 56. I mean, it's just not a consequence. And the one guy only played 3 years, but look how long he stayed with the league. I mean, you look at some of these guys, like I was trying to explain to my fiance about Michael Thompson. I think it was Michael Thompson. No, they were showing Devin Ham. Devin Ham played 11 years. No, Devin Ham played, 8 years. Devin Ham played 8 years, so he played long enough to get a pension. Then he was assistant coach for 11 years. So, this is 20-some years, is his participation with the league. Definitely smoke them if you want them. But for all this, there is a price. I mean, it's a little easier sometimes to tell in football because football only has single games. But it's when we look at playoffs, see, when we're talking about, games going for a period of time, you kind of, you see how the ritual is done a little different. So that's the only thing to consider, y'all. Consider that. That's all you can do. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. All right. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay. When I saw they had AD, when I saw that they had AD under in points, I knew Golden State would win. Huh. That's interesting. Whoa. Oh, okay. That's better. That is interesting. And just the effort. I must say, they looked very dapper after the game. If you caught the interview with LeBron and them, they looked very dapper. Um, it must be cool everywhere. They were dressed kind of like it was cool. You would think in California, the way they were dressed, that it would be, much more summerish. And no, these dudes had Anthony Davis was wearing a raincoat, and LeBron had on a sweater, like a winter sweater. Literally, he had on a shirt and a winter sweater. So it's like, whoa, to them, it must be cool. I got both windows open, and it's a beautiful day. 76 here today. So I played. Oh, let me tell you about the pickleball guide. Played 8 games today. Yesterday was so packed, I played 5 games. 4 games. 4 or 5. The day before I played about 6. Yeah, today I played 8 games. I played a good 2 hours. I didn't even chart, how much I did today. Let's see. Average steps. And it always gets me on the headphone. I have it connected to the car, so it's blasting. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this for yesterday. I can't find it. What I did yesterday. Oh, have to keep messing with it to make it come back up. But I bet I got a couple miles in, at least 2 or 3 miles, and I played 8 good games. I think I'm gonna have to get another racket. I think my racket is too light. And I hear other people talking about whiffing on balls and things, but I like my racket because I like going low and being able to dig, but I think it's just a little too light. But hand-eye, might be right here. Okay, Thursday. All right, here we go. I got 7,500 steps in. So yeah. And the day before I got 62. And then the day before, the first day I played pickleball, I went out to the Mall of America too, and I got 10,000 steps in. So yeah, today I got in 7,500 steps. So that's a few miles. They're like, you're a little busier than normal, buddy. It's gonna rain in the morning. They said it was packed to go play pickleball in the morning. And and I love that, where I play pickleball is on the reservation. So I love that. Going to the land. I don't love all the ticks. It's a lot of ticks out there. I'm still got the heebie-jeebies, because a tick is so lazy. A tick will get full. You ever seen a tick on a dog? The tick will get so full and be like, fuck it, I've had enough, and just fall on the ground. I mean, they'll be like a little ball of blood. They'll literally suck off the dog or what animal until they just fall on the ground. They're full. So that's one thing I don't like. And I don't know if they spray for that or what they can do about that. So I try not to sit out there. Sometimes you need a break, but man. But because it is, it's cut out of a park, and it's grass all around. So I imagine these things, they see infrared, they see heat. That's what they think is supper, even though they're micro. So lucky there's been none on me. Dr. Senator. Okay, it's cold and rainy in California. Wow. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was nice here. I mean, it's really nice. 70 something is summer to us. You know, it's like shoot, getting the sedan and had the windows down. These past few days, we're having some work done on the Acura, which is nothing, just some painting done. And they gave us 2023 Outback Wilderness. So been pushing that the last couple of days. And this mug is raised, I think, 7-8 inches. It will actually probably do a little bit of backwood. You know, I don't think, big boulders and stuff, but trails definitely it'll kick ass. You know, Subaru is known for that. Um, the negative is it has a type of CVT system, and I know they try to defend that shit, but you really can't defend it. It's not has a history of being great, but it has the advanced type of some of that system. A very very cool car, a lot bigger than the Acura, but and it's funny. A couple days after getting the Acura, I saw a Mitsubishi Mirage. Now I was reading something that I forgot to read. I found an article about the most fuel efficient cars in America. Okay. And the Mitsubishi Mirage was in there. But something I did not know about them, they literally have 86 horsepower. You're on the highway with a car with 86 horsepower. Now, this is not the first time, some of those smart cars, those little two-seaters, those are very similar. Fiats might even be similar, but you can probably get it. But yeah, can you imagine that? It's the most fuel efficient car I think sold, but you're not going past 60. And don't go into any part of the country where, it's you starting to go mountains. That little car probably couldn't go. So it's interesting. But I saw someone with one. I was going to take a picture with it. I was like, hey, the Acura's a lot nicer. But this Wilderness is nice. It's only roughly 46. Nice. 46, roomy. I only think it's 3, but nice. Very laid out. Very cool to have for the couple days. Yeah, but that's all that's been happening here. 67, low of 47. It's not gonna get lower than 50 tonight here. It's right now 58. It's 58. It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain in a couple hours. And then it's gonna rain at 8, 9 a.m. And I would go play pickleball. I would dare. I might still go see. Yeah, but then now they're saying it's gonna rain at 12 too. Yeah, that's gonna kill. It'd be too wet. But possibly later in the day. They're saying it's gonna rain 7 and 8. So depending the type of rain, might be some time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might get some, or I might just rest my knee. I could do that too. Go out to the mall and just get some walking in. So yeah, be able to do that too. And then Saturday, 67, but it's supposed to rain. So now it's saying rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 74 Sunday though. But we'll just see because right now it looks like it's spotty rain. And so sometimes if it gets nice enough, and like I said, we're going to have a thunderstorm too. So, I ain't really got nothing to do tomorrow. It's my fiance. It's Friday for her. It's Friday for me every day. So, I got a good workout today. I really did. I really got a good workout. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's RDR, MDR, RDR, yeah. So they had painted it, and we had just showed where the paint really wasn't put on right. So, and it was just a little small part, and it was glad to do it. Like I said, I saw that the shocks wasn't cool, and it's like, all right, they swooped them out, and it's just like I was right. It rides so much better. So, they're cool people, and having this other would be like, hey, what do you think about us with that one? And the scary part is we could get it. But, those payments is a motherfucker. The payments don't play, y'all. The payments do not play. So, but yeah, it was very disappointing watching the game. And I should have, I'm sorry, Lobo did a live, and I didn't know, I didn't get to notice that he was doing a live. Because I would have, had everybody like, hey, watch Lobo while the game going on. And yeah, I should bring up this other stuff and let you hear my man. I don't know. Maybe I'll save it for another time. Yeah, I'll save that for another time. Huh. Hmm. Okay. Some cool art. That is some cool art. Uh, so yeah, I don't know, when if we've had it dang near 4 or 5 days, so I'm not sure when we quite getting the other one back, but it's cool to have this one. And if we have it on the weekend, we do. If not, we get the other one. That's cool too, because we ordered new mats for that one, because it didn't come with the rubber mats, and so we getting the rubber mats put in that one. So that those came in Monday, so they came in before we dropped the car off to get it painted. So that's what's happening with that. So yeah, and it has a spunky little engine, yeah, because that's I looked in at the Toyotas and the Hondas, they had the 4-cylinder engines, and they just don't put out a lot of power. Now, my mother-in-law's partner has a Jeep, but she has a 4-cylinder, and she attributes her not being able to, the car defogs very well. She attributes that to having, a 4-cylinder engine. But what it really is when you have those, what you have to do is you have to get the cabin warm. So she has back heat. That's the good thing about her car. And so what you really have to do is you have to get that back heat really blowing. And yes, it is, for the weight of the car, slightly underpowered, but it's still, you can generate the heat in the car, but you just have to turn it all on. And, older women had him hot flash. Well, they should be out of hot flashes, but still, older women seem to be hotter all the time for some reason. And so that's what I told her. I was like, you just got to turn these vents off so these vents can hit the windows. Because really, again, when you have a car with no heat, what fogs up the window is your breathing. Your breathing freezes the windows. So, and I've had cars in the past, like I said, the old Volkswagens didn't have, the old 60s Volkswagen Beetles didn't have heat in them. So, yeah. So that's all. We're just gonna have fun. We got a busy weekend coming. Lot to do. Going to see Guardian of the Galaxies on Mother's Day. My mother said that she wanted to go see Guardians of the Galaxy on Mother's Day. That's what we're going to do. We're going to see them. So, and kind of got to work it out with my daughter and her mother because it's my weekend, but it is Mother's Day. So, we'll work it out. But if my daughter wants to go see Guardians and then spend the rest of the day with her mother, that is perfectly fine too. So, but I'm going to spend, time with my mother. We're going to go see Guardian of the Galaxies and probably go out to eat, and, then we have a party to go to Saturday and Sunday. We have events. So, it's a busy weekend for us. Now, I have a in-law that has a boat. Now, the in-law's boat is down at the Mississippi River. And her boat was supposed to be put in the river 3 weeks ago. And right now, where the dock is down there is still flooded. So, and I haven't checked out WCCO to see if it's still flooded. uh, oh my goodness, man! They want the TV to raise your children. I mean, they really do. I don't know if this is kind of interesting. Short. uh, okay, here we go. Since we were talking about the rivers and what the river's been doing, I don't know any of those. All right, here we go. How are the rivers doing here in the Great White North? Let's let these people tell it. over here.
I'm going to have seen some big changes. As WCCO's Marielle Mose discovered, in cities on both sides of the river, there is still a long way to go.
The worst has passed.
Dan Sullivan says he's ready for their busy season at the Dock Cafe in Stillwater to begin. Despite the rising river, their building and patio didn't get any water damage.
We have no basement to worry about flooding, and we're up on strong support here.
Sullivan and the other staff have been watching the water drop since it crested a week ago.
The measuring device we used to chart how high the water was coming and when it began to drop and how quickly was this parking sign down here.
At its highest, this sign was nearly entirely underwater.
It's almost been miraculous how quickly the water has receded here.
And across state lines here in Hudson, it looks like the riverfront is still pretty flooded, but it's actually made a lot of improvement from last week, where that bench was underwater and you couldn't see underneath the pier.
It's unbelievable how fast it's receding now. And just last week, we couldn't even get through the road over there where they built the new boat landing.
Mike and Joanne Amadon have been able to access more and more areas along the riverfront on their daily walks. The pier just opened back up this week.
Now they took away all the barriers, and it's pretty easy to get through, and you can just see it dropping each day.
They're hoping this area dries up quickly for the busy summer schedule ahead.
They do some Thursday evening concerts, and they do a lot of community activities where it gets really crowded.
Along the St. Croix River, Marielle Mose, WCCO News.
Stillwater Public Works tells us that it plans to remove the berm on May 15th.
So it's not such a problem. And the water is receding. I'll say here, not necessarily. Again, I live very close to what's the Minnesota River, which runs into the Mississippi River. And on my east side, I don't know if you guys saw in the shot, there was a train, like a bridge for a train. And not far from me, the bridge to the train, the water is just barely below this bridge. As I was saying, with my in-laws' boat, she can't even go down there to see. Her boat is up on blocks, but we don't know, or she doesn't know if it's in the water, you know, how, but you can't access that area. That area is still all flooded. So that's in this area. So I'll see her in a day or two to see what she knows, but to this point, she can't get down to her boat yet. So, well, you don't hear about this every day. Let's check this out. Whoa, not that. Ooh, there we go. All right, you don't hear about this every day. See, it's a tough life living up here, y'all. You just don't know. You don't know what it's like living in the Great White North. You never know what's happening. What will happen? So let them tell it. Tell us what's about to happen, buddy.
Right after the explosion around 8.
Let's start again.
Caused a home explosion in Otsego.
And this was the scene right after the explosion around 8:30 this morning. Neighbors shared these videos that show flames and smoke pouring from the roof. From the air, you can see the devastating aftermath. The blast destroyed the home, leaving behind a large pile of rubble. The house was unoccupied, but the explosion was so powerful that people living in the next town over reported feeling vibrations. WCCO's John Lordson has been there all day. He joins us right now. So, John, what are neighbors saying about what happened?
Yeah, Amelia, they're happy no one has heard, of course, and they did tell us this home has been unoccupied for some time, like you said. But let's look at the aftermath from ground level here. I want to show you something. What you're looking at in front is actually the garage. That's the first part of damage that you're looking at. There's a white door laying in front of it. That door is actually from the house on the other side of the garage there, the house that was destroyed. So obviously that was a big explosion, and it was so loud it caught the attention of seemingly everyone in the area.
Just like having a cup of coffee, looking out the window, and then bang, we just hear this concussive boom.
Chris Broska was getting his daughter ready for school when his quiet routine morning took a sudden turn.
And I see a bunch of like detritus and whatnot fly through the tree line there.
The explosion and fire that followed destroyed the home on the other side of the tree line.
I talked to a firefighter earlier from Elk River, and he said it shook his house from a little ways away.
First responders and fire crews from 3 departments arrived just minutes after the explosion. The biggest challenge was finding a water source, but once they did, they had the flames put out within an hour. The house was a loss, and scattered among the debris were snowmobiles and other valuables.
It's shock.
David and his construction crew were working on a home next to the explosion. They watched a window land on the next lawn over. His coworker took pictures and video of the fire that followed. David said he saw the top of the house go straight up in the air.
When that happened, just blow the whole thing, and you can see the roof went up and down.
Damn.
And once again, no one hurt in this. No one was living in the home at the time. Now, we talked to the assistant fire chief from Rogers, and he tells us the natural gas was not on at the time that this house exploded. And of course, this looks like a gas explosion, but again, the natural gas not on. The propane tank next to it also not on at all here at this point. So a lot of investigating going on here. No cause determined as of yet, but of course, again, that'll all be part of the upcoming investigation.
All right. Thank you, John.
Wow. That is something you don't see every day. You do not see cribs blowing up without being tied to gasoline. You just don't see it. What? So that is wow, man. That is like, that's unmanageable, y'all. It's hard for me to imagine that. Crib like that. Something you don't see every day. Crib like that, you just don't. James Lucifer Wooten Bratton, also known as Jim Red Wolf. Greetings. Thank you for joining.
You're a philosopher? Yes.
Another brother that's a philosopher and likes to philosophize. Yeah, so, you guys think living up here is all good. You got houses blowing up around you and stuff. Even though that is a ways away from me, I will admit that. Not terribly.
It has been 1 week since the St. Croix River reached.
Not terribly far away from me, and yesterday they was locking dudes up and stuff, We got the Taste of Minnesota coming back here. If you want a job as a lifeguard, it looks like there's some jobs here. How do city lights impact migratory birds? Because we have a lot of Canadian geese here. But other than that, it doesn't look like anybody, got shot up or nothing. So, the nice weather, a lot of times the nice weather brings violence. But it does not look like it brought violence so far. So no violence to report today. And that is good. That is good for everybody. Oh, check this out. Check this out. I did catch this. This is kind of why, but it happened here, so I think that's the answer to it. Let's go, Amanda.
To stock up on a life-saving medicine as the opioid epidemic continues to impact so many lives, including kids. Now, an effort at the state capitol to require overdose reversal drug naloxone in schools could get a federal funding boost. Caroline Cummings explains.
We'll never know if having this simple tool could have made the difference for Luke and our family.
Since Colleen Ronnie's son Luke died of an opioid overdose in 2016, it's been her life's work to educate young people about the dangers of opioids. Her latest fight, getting naloxone in all schools.
Naloxone enables life and so will this legislation.
That could become a reality next school year if a proposal at the Capitol passes, requiring each Minnesota school building keep 2 doses on hand. A version like Narcan can reverse overdoses with a spray up the nose.
We simply cannot tolerate more needless loss of life. We have to act with urgency, and we have to act now.
The effort comes as state data show the number of hospital visits for non-fatal overdoses among school-aged children nearly tripled from 2016 to 2021. WCCO first took you inside Bloomington Public.
Look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. This is young people ODing. They saying non-fentanyl, but still heroin, oxycodone. Look at the numbers. Not to mention, someone this past year OD'd in one of the schools. And I think that's what, brought a lot of this.
Tripled from 2016 to 2021. WCCO first took you inside Bloomington Public Schools in December, a district leading the way with Narcan on hand in case of an emergency. Now, as Minnesota nears passage of a bill making that the school standard, Congressman Dean Phillips Thursday announced new federal legislation, hoping other states have an incentive to do the same.
This is complementary more than anything else, but it just simply allows schools to apply for dollars that currently exist.
Phillips says this bill, the School Access to Naloxone Act, is modeled after similar legislation on EpiPens. It would prioritize grant funding to states to help cover the costs if they pass policies requiring the life-saving medicine on school grounds. At the Capitol, Caroline Cummings, WCCO News.
Minnesota is also considering requiring naloxone for law enforcement and inside the state's correctional facilities. Republicans also have expressed support for Narcan in schools.
We did have a OD in school, and it would have saved someone's life if they would have had it on hand. I've always argued on hustling. It was a movie I was watching. A guy got out of prison. I forget what series it was on, but the guy gets out of prison, and they're saying how they can use oxy to cut and make money. And it's like, how are you making money if people aren't able to stand the dose? I mean, it's one thing when one person comes in town and he has really good heroin, but it's another thing when 3 or 4 people OD on it. And I've said I had a neighbor that injected her husband and had Narcan on hand and didn't administer it to him. And she had Narcan. And later they did charge another person with it, but the person was already in prison. They just gave him a new charge because they was about to charge her. And then not 3 or 4 months ago, I'm pretty sure the woman was still broken from what she had done. I don't think she ever healed because she OD'd once, and she OD'd twice in my apartment building. So I'm pretty sure that she never could get away from the haunt of what she did. Because just talking to her, she would tell how, she was called the doctor because she could shoot heroin into everybody. I mean, it was interesting when you get into the analyzing people, and as they talk freely about their life and, bragging about that kind of thing. You dig? So, El Dragon Amoran Khan, what's happening?
You're a philosopher?
What is happening? Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. There we go. And so it doesn't make sense if your product is harming people like that. And I say that young lady I was mentioning, I don't think she ever could get over what she had done. I think it ate into her. And obviously, she had OD'd twice as I knew her, and then the third time that I hear, she was able to lose her life. So that happens as well. So tough choices out there. You know, when you talk about, and again, we know, you know, some of these deaths are ritual. When we hear these Hollywood stars or somebody who slips some fentanyl and they think they have coke, I mean, that's not an accident. Even Prince, and not to say Prince didn't have access, but he would have known. Because remember, one of his last tweets said, "Just when I thought I was safe." And that's a compound, you know. And we know anybody can break in anywhere and attack anybody. You know, movies show you how they do it. Somebody can just sneak into your compound, sneak in a car or something, be in your house and then did something or put something where, you know, you'd access to it. Somebody then gave some intel about your life. A lot of energy around. Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't give it up. This is the full moon energy. Actually, I guess we would, well, we don't peak actually till tomorrow, but I guess the end, this would be this, because we're going to be going into, you know, waxing down, because it peaks at 1 Eastern time, 1:30, so noon here it peaks. The full moon energy peaks, so it's always 4 days before and 4 days after, so not surprised, a lot of energy around here, not surprised. I had to play with it a little bit. It's good to touch the crystals and get them to work. Keep them activated. Keep them motivated. Things like attention, you dig? And unless you work with things like these all the time, you know, how can you have an expectation of what they can do for you? I mean, it's all about intention, of course, but it's like consistency. And that's what magic is. Magic is consistency. I mean, you know, you start, for most people, alchemy. You know, cooking is the earliest alchemy most people are exposed to. Where you see someone turn something, you know, these raw materials into, you know, very beautiful finished product. And so, you know, that's magic. I mean, it's a simplified magic, but that's magic. And we know people, I mean, Red Wolf talks about it. He remembers old family members that could make that magic. They in there working with all that stuff and, you know, come up with something that you look like you would get from a cafeteria, a restaurant. And all it is the family members, you know. My grandmother was one of those. Cooked so much food, it just didn't make any sense for the people there. You know, it's just... But that is how we're most exposed to that type of simple magic. And as I said, I ordered today, and you know, books take forever, but I ordered the Magician's tables, and I really want to break that down. That's what, if Brother Macbone comes in, that's what he wants to do, is really break some of this stuff down. Because it affects, what it does is it affects this reality and how they manipulate this reality. You have to really look at a lot of the histories. And if you study what John Dee got a hold of, again, you know, John Dee, like it's something some of y'all might have found on Facebook called the Einstein crystal, and it imprints other crystals. So this is supposed to be one of the 13 sacred crystals, and we know that they took one out of what was Mexico. Well, now it's Mexico City, but Montezuma. They took his a big obsidian mirror. They took all his crystal balls, and they took the crystal skulls. Now, if you study this crystal skull, this thing chatters. They play certain frequencies. I mean, these things are, you know, they can't replicate them. They can make kind of copies, but they can't actually replicate them, nor can they tell you how they were built. And so John Dee's had all this, and he really couldn't connect to it. Then he brings in Kelly. Kelly's able to fake a lot, but they start finding a way to do it. So therefore, if you really want to look into a way of how they could have changed reality and changed reality in favor of countries. Or you could even say they changed reality for families. You know, you change the reality for millions, but yet 1% benefits from this change. You can follow how it seems like they can do it. And you can also find out where the technological advantage and where they say it came from. Okay, because this also comes from what they discovered. Because what they discovered with John D. and Kelly, they pretty much created a language out of the communication they had with all these other things. And as I talk about, you know, when people talk about circling so you can bind something, that's what they had to do when they started communicating with these energies, because these energies weren't meant for most of them. The way they came across a lot of these energies was by them stealing the stuff from someone else. And I mean, we know the old saying where the Europeans come in and say, "Show me your gods." Because number one, it might be diamonds or something there, but again, they want to start breaking it down. And so there's a language. And I mean, it's not tied to, you know, there's a lot of things that you can decipher and you can break down. And I show some of the same books all the time. Again, this can be used as a daily guide. And I've broken down how this is no different than the days and the nights of the Mayan day and the Mayan night. It's very similar. And to truly use this kind of stuff again, you take a given day. They show the lucky numbers, they show the symbols, and so I don't know if people really understand that. I mean, there's so many, like, and this is just something light, really. This is light, but it's like it's actually a sign of symbols to give you, for you to write down. And while you're writing down these symbols, you're manifesting. And it's even broken down onto what seal you use. Because a lot of these seals are, you know, there's no locks into them. And so you see how you put this seal down. Like this says Saturday under Saturn, the pinnacle for Saturday under Saturn. Talisman for the fruits of the earth. So this already gives it to you, and you just follow the procedure because this is the given for the day, and you can tap into how your own signals. And you know, I'm you know, everybody knows I'm cool with all the gematria cats, but see, it's gemancy too. So there's a lot of ways of divinations. And just the study of what signs and symbols mean, and not necessarily the propaganda. Because most source codes give you the propaganda for certain signs. You know, the swastika is probably the most obvious, that the energy has been stolen from something that they've only occupied basically for 70, 80 years. The Nazis, about 100 years, you know, where for thousands of years it meant energy. Dig? And this is what they do. You know, they try to claim this energy that they never owned, that they just used. I mean, you go to India, Indian people, they have swastikas all the time for tattoos. Very common. They knew that, they knew that the Nazis didn't invent that stuff. This was something that they used and they claimed, and they really didn't claim it that long. Then you had another group that tries to claim it, keeping that defeated energy going, which, the reason why that group was able to re-rise because it never died. The Nazis did not lose in any way, shape, or form. The Kingsmen did a good job on the Kingsmen showing World War I. And a movie that I suggest that you find is Sarajevo in the assassination of the Archduke. And you watch that, and it just shows you that how all this history, like even looking at the comparison between Kennedy and Lincoln, this all becomes apparent because you look at Sarajevo and you're like, well, damn, And I know the movie's made after those other events, but the basic facts still add up to the facts. You had relatives that fought against each other, all coming from Queen Victoria. Now, if that's not divide and conquer, but then again, who gets killed? The only one relative that really seemed to suffer was the Tsar Nicholas and his family. They wiped that bloodline out, it appeared. The Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks are them peoples. I mean, that's no way to get around that. That's who the Nazis was, that's who they threw at the Nazis when the Nazis went into Russia. They started fighting Bolsheviks because Bolsheviks had taken over. And if it wasn't really for Trotsky, because Trotsky had some of the Navy, I mean, it wasn't for Trotsky's genius. They were lucky not to get defeated. Actually, that even looks odd because they could have easily won what they went out to do. They could have clearly done, which was to capture the oil fields. And then again, when we're talking about magic and we're looking at a giant spell, I always talk about, and I'm gonna repeat it all the time, is Love and War and the Napoleon's campaign. It looked like it was a weather spell. And we see the same thing happen to the Germans. We see a weather spell come in there. Because remember, Germany is not a tropical place. So when they show you these stories and they say the Germans weren't, didn't have their winter stuff on, they didn't have their winter stuff on for apparently reasons. They were used to winter. They knew and could predict when winter could come and go. And for some reason, that winter was different. They try to tell you that these Germans, again, Germany is a cold place where they're very used to snow. Right? So they wouldn't have been surprised because all of a sudden it's snowing. But that's what they make you think. But that shows you these people were hit with a spell. They didn't expect a storm, blizzards. They didn't expect that. And yes, the blizzards came and they were not expecting to be hit with blizzards when they did. And that's why you saw the dress and the way the materials and stuff. So this stuff has been around. But it also shows you that the elite don't really care. It's like toy soldiers, really is. I mean, if I talk many, many times, and like you even study Vietnam. I mean, it even seems like those people had a lack of the North Vietnamese. It's like they had even less lack for life. I mean, millions of these people, and of course, civilians, but just millions of their people were sacrificed in these battles. I mean, it's like unbelievable. From a standpoint where there's no strategic advantage on what they fought for. I mean, Hamburger Hill is just one of the great examples of that. And yet these people over there, there was no tactical thought in what they were doing. What do they call it? Search and destroy? What does that mean? In what war is search and destroy used? That is not any battlefield tactics. Just go out there and if you see them, you kill them. What are you gaining with that? You're trying to say attrition? You're going to another country and you're going to try to kill them all. Now, they were able to do that in some places, but again, that is no real strategy to go over and say we're just going to kill the ones we think. But they killed great numbers, no doubt. But their own government was willing to send out, these numbers of people that they knew they were just going to die. It's like if you study the in 1969, and I can't think of what it's called, the Battle away and all that. If you study that, that makes no sense what happened in 1969. The multiple attacks all around Vietnam made no sense. There's a movie, and I can't think of the name of the movie, but in the movie it talks about these attacks. But the point of the movie, if you watch it it says, this battle was literally the end of the Viet Cong. Estimated the Christmas or whatever celebration attack they did that Way City was involved in, that wiped out the army of South Vietnam, the resistance in 1968. That's what this movie tells you, and if you study, that's actually what happened. And from 1968 on, it was the North Vietnamese you were fighting. What they call the North Vietnamese regulars. So what great strategy that you would do that you would risk your whole guerrilla movement in one shebang? I mean, was it really realistic to think that they were going to capture and change the tide? Destroying Way City, an ancient city, for mostly revenge murders, which I understand. You work with the people, there's a revenge factor that I understand. I mean, supposedly it's a war going on right now. And for me, just me, being a common American, and we have so many other things and so many other concerns for American people. And then they're talking about, they're not going to be able to pay the national debt, so they're going to have to invent some type of coin that they can transfer, $1 trillion coin you can transfer to other banks, so they can supposedly hold this $1 trillion debt. Because, there's such things as $100,000 bills, $10,000 bills that banks push amongst each other. They've had that kind of thing forever. I think there's even a few $1 million bills that go between banks. So I guess we have to talk about what is the solutions for all this. I guess that has to come into thought too. Is like how despite all this, how do I remain sane knowing all this? And it's like, it's never, you can never be like Cypher. We can never be that. Once your eyes open up to what this really is, you can never not see it. Now, you can live your life and never talk about these things that bother you, that you think that is not right about society, and just be a puppet again. You can do that, despite really knowing the truth. You can do that. You can put your head in the sand, and you can just slip away. I don't care anymore. I don't want to see it. I knew Warriors would win. It's scripted. J.R. Jeffries, thank you for joining us. So, you knew the Warriors would win. Yeah, well, it wasn't a very good game. As I started off talking about tonight, the effort just didn't seem there, like it was there. I didn't think the effort was there. And I maybe I didn't finish my thought about the game earlier. It you know what we do in football, we show faces in football, and we kind of would show faces. Are they going to win or lose? Is this a face where they're going to win or lose? And I wish I would have paid attention to the game a little closer, because I really didn't. I didn't pay attention to that part to see their faces, but I just looked at the effort. Early, I saw the effort. And the other thing is, you know, running the sets they were running, the effort just wasn't there. Right, they made it look too obvious. I agree wholeheartedly. I agree. They made it look way too obvious. The effort wasn't there. You can see when people are trying to get it, and you can see when people are just doing the little things not to get it. Again, it's, you know, it's you have the best scripters in the world, and these people that are in these games, you know, they follow the script on things. Wow, it was man. I wish I would have taped this too, because it was a play earlier that it was God. What was it? I said God. Gosh, what was it? It was a play earlier that a player did, and it was like the only way he would have, the reaction that he did, the only way he could have reacted was someone told him something. And God, it's like I caught it, and you know how old people be like, man, but it was something that was like, wow, he had to be told because he reacted. And maybe it was golf or something, but it was something I saw, and it was like, wow. So maybe it'll come back to me what it was, but it was interesting. I caught that. And as I said, you know, I started off saying that's the only way you can really help go to state. The only way you can really help them is to blow out teams. Again, that's going back into what, the 16th season, 15th season, where, you know, Steph won again. You know, they're the game's over in the first quarter. I mean, really, they outscored them 40 something in 2 quarters. They outscored them in 40. Really, that's effort. That's effort, especially with this Klay Thompson. And they try to say, you know, that Klay Thompson and Steph are the best backcourt. But again, you know, looking when Klay got hurt. Look at, you know, and this ain't that Klay. But not to take anything away from him. So, you know, we're entertained. We're entertained. We know, you know, it's not real. For those of you that got the bread to bet on the games, that's what we take advantage of. We take advantage of betting on the games. And now there's so many, you know, in-game bets. It's up to you. You know, again, it's, you know, if you got the bread to do it, that's on you. It's not yay or nay with me. And I really forget. I really forget most of the time. So, man, it's like, you know, it's not that important to me. Not really. The gambling's not. I don't have a big gambling bug. I was watching a thing where they were saying that brothers grew up being brothers. All right, brothers that gambled. Now, you know, brothers that gamble don't necessarily have to be just hood dudes. It's brothers that just gambled. Their people gambled, and they just run in circles that gamble, house gamble. I mean, where I lived in Battle Creek, you know, it was a gambling house where it had always been gambling houses. One of my father's oldest friends in Battle Creek had a gambling house. Yeah, it was right on the Kalamazoo River. The Kalamazoo River was literally his backyard. It's kind of cool. There's no house there anymore. And that's what it was. And so, I mean, I remember going to the gambling joints, and I would always take a couple guns because it was just funny. You know, what they call vultures. You know, it was dudes that would hit, but they would not bring a gun or have enough people with them. And they would literally have dudes waiting for them outside, and guys would rob them. You know, guys would rob them. So I always thought they was suckers. You know, because they would see this kind of thing, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna pop somebody for this bread. Because I done want it. I done use my money to get it. And these broke dudes who's only coming in there just to watch. And, you know, they vultures and they ain't gambling most of the time. So. Brother Mac Bone, what's happening? Some practical, I I don't pray no practical jokes on my man, but welcome, Bishop Macbone.
You're a philosopher? You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes.
Glad to see you. Well, whatever you work out with him, you know. Because that one deal you showed me, there's no way, bro. There's no way I would do that, what you emailed me. It's like, I definitely couldn't do that. So, I'll call you, though. But yeah, it's definitely, I couldn't do what you suggested. That is ridiculous. I could never do that. And then don't you do that, you know? I mean, you can put your own word out there. Put it into getting your equipment up, whatever, you know. So, when we come out, everybody look like the same thing. This is what it calls for, you know. That to have people listen to you. It calls, you know, this is what it asks for. This looks the best. And this can always be upgraded. So, but you got to have a starting point somewhere. So, I would say, you know, save that and put that into you. And then you come to me when you're really ready. You know, you come to me if it's together and you ready. Because I know folks too. I know folks that talk about it and give their opinions. So, yeah, I'll call you though. So I get so busy. Shit, I didn't get out of bed till noon, but I didn't go to bed last night till 4. So I slept because I had the clock set at 9, and I was like, yeah, I don't feel like it. I really didn't feel like it. It's like, I'm gonna lay here and fart and laugh and sleep. So yeah, that's what I did instead of getting up. So I didn't mind. How long have I been going? Oh man, okay, already an hour. Cool. Because I'm not. Let me see, what time is this? Oh no, shoot. Okay, I might just go 2 hours instead of the 4 hours tonight. I might go another 40 minutes, see if I got something to say. Now, one thing I do like doing is I like spoofing. Spoofing is cool. I do like spoofing. So if anybody ever wants to do a spoof, I'm kind of with it. We can do a nice little spoof together. It's like, it used to be somebody's comic routine, and I don't know if anybody remembers this because they was doing this on my mom's birthday, but there was a comic that started this, and this comic, I can't remember how she started it, but she would do a bit on, I guess she played every part, but she would talk about like how she met people, and so she would tell how she met people. So she was like, well, I had one friend named Jill, and this is how I met her, and she would make up the story on how she met her. Later, this became a party game. I don't know, and I can't remember that comedian who started that, but it was somebody's routine, and then later people turned it into a party game where, you know, you would put all your friends in, and you know, because like my mother, what she would do is like she would ask somebody, well, how did we meet? And then she's like, no, we didn't, and she would tell another story. So, and that's what this comedian did, you know. It's like, so what did he say? Facts. I understand. Just brainstorming stuff and 3 ideas. I'm always going to do what's best for everybody. I contacted. Okay. Yeah, that's all. That's all. Because it's like we all got something to say. We all can transmit. And it's funny. It's like the corporations agree to let us work for them, but the corporations still, it's almost still like a parent-child relationship. It's just thousands of children that you can punish, like the way they took away my other channel without any warnings or anything. All that music, all the people I followed, like just gone without what they say you're supposed to do. And I'm not crying and bitching, you know, I've moved on, but I'm just saying, you say there's a process in this, and then you don't even follow the process. So that just makes you that part. You dig? You dig? But this is the wave. This is the wave you ride. And so to get your out for a philosopher, shaman, researcher, chief, for whatever it is, to get out what you need to get out to help your sanity. Because these thoughts, regardless if they erase them, these thoughts are still out there. And even though fragments is out there, they're still out there. And again, the stuff they take away, you got to pay to re-get it back. They make you think it's gone, but they make you pay to get it back. And it's like I don't try to come with people like I have all the solutions, because that's really not how it works. I have my solution. And through my solution, I try to give hints or possible ways that might work for others. Because one big part that especially with us brothers, is, to look at sports in a true light. Because we as brothers, we get very emotional with our sports, because that's how we've been taught. Especially if we've played sports somewhere and we're from a town or we're from a state, we get very emotional in our sports. And what we have is blind followers. We have blind followers of these sports that, it's just it's worse. It's the worst brainwashing there's ever been. That these people think that their college team and their pro team is legitimate. I mean, the best thing that's happening in the college is now the players get paid, because the players have been throwing games for years and not really getting paid what they deserve to get paid. And it was so bad in college, as I said before, it was something like at least $10 million. Again, it's 64 teams. It was for each of those 64 teams, the billions they made off of one Final Four season, it was enough to pay. And I know I threw a number out like 60 before, and I think that was right. But even just a low number like 10 million apiece of each player that played in the tournament. I think it was closer to something like 60 million. But just the final for the fee for the players could have been something like, just, I would say a low number, just 10. And that still only added up to like 600 million or something like that. Do you understand? Even paying the players, it wasn't that, like, even at 10, it's only 300,000, I think, or 300 million. If you paid them 10, it's something like only 300 million out of $1 billion and something. At the schools. So it is, it just shows you how, and the players were still throwing the games. That's the thing to remember. The players were still throwing games, but not really getting paid a lot to throw the games. Now they're going to get paid for throwing the games. Contact Sly on IG told him he'll be down when he takes care of other endeavors. He told me he'd be down when he take care of other endeavors. I got to get back with him to serious physical mental training, myself boxing, quiet and fasting. Oh, bad. You see, I'm not drinking beer tonight, and that's, I have to, I like drinking beer too much, whereas days I have to not. So this was a good day, because a lot of times if I don't work out, I'm not sweating the beer out. The beer is just sitting there, So at least when I work out, it's kind of moving out of my system. It's sweating out my system a lot quicker, because alcohol will linger with you. So it's the kind of thing where you really can burn it out of you the more active you are. So yeah. My older sister's very passionate Dallas Cowboy fans. Yeah. Like my best friend Tony has been a Detroit Lions fan, even though he grew up here since he was 12. But he was born in Michigan, and he left Michigan at 12, and he never became a Vikings fan. He always has been a Detroit fan. And believe me, Magic being 2 years ahead of me and kind of growing up around Magic, seeing his success, it was like I was cheering for it. But then it was like, wait a minute. Some of that stuff started looking really, really fishy. and I'd already, really the 76, 77 season with Bill Walton won, that convinced me that there was no way these games were real. Because they can try to show the films and clip them. That was not a talented team. Was not a talented team that beat that Dr. J team. So I've been looking at fixed games since then. And you can just go to the year the Cowboys lost to the Colts. Because remember, the Colts lose to the Jets so people could accept the AFL. That's the only reason Joe Namath shouldn't be in the Football Hall of Fame. Joe Namath threw I think Tom Brady just broke the record, but I think Joe Namath is second of pick six. Remember a few years ago when that quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks from college, went with the Jets, and remember what his very first play was. His very first play was the pick six, and that was a tribute to Joe Namath. Do y'all remember that Monday night game? And then that very same quarterback came back and won, and now he's with a different team, Donaldson or whatever his name was. But remember, his very first professional NFL play was he threw a pick six, and that's allude to Joe Namath. And I think Tom Brady broke that record, but for a long time, Joe Namath threw the most pick sixes. And he's basically in the Hall of Fame for winning one Super Bowl. He was injury prone. He had bad legs in college. So he shouldn't be in the NFL, shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but then you go into 69. Okay, so 68, they let the Jets win. This is when the merger's about to happen. Then look what happens the following year. The Chiefs beat that Vikings team. Now, the year before, you had a great Baltimore team, Don Shula coach, with a great defense that lost to that Jet team. Then the next year, the very next year, we see the Chiefs beating that Vikings team that only lost 1 or 2 or 3 games. Now, remember, when the leagues merged, the Colts went from because remember, the Colts were initially the Houston Texans. And from the Houston Texans, they moved to Baltimore. That's what they originally were. They were in the NFL. And then when the merger came in, when it was just the NFL, and you had the AFC and the NFC, the Colts went in the AFC. And the Colts win 1970 with the field goal by O'Brien. So do you see how they scripted? They screwed the Colts when they was in the NFL, but then they let the Colts come back and win it. So that you see how easily you can see through the script. And as a matter of fact, I think the Colts coach was like the first year coach too. He won the Super Bowl at his first year. Don Mac something. Kind of lunching on that. But do you see how they do this thing? So, the planet Earth is a gigantic prison of souls. The wardens are the 13th floor. The prisons and rules and handbook is the Holy Bible. That's one of them. The Bible has a lot of gemancy and gematria in it. I think one dude broke down... there's the golden ratio is broke down in sound in the Bible. I think it was I was listening to one dude how the golden ratio is put in there. Now I don't quite remember the full one. Maybe somebody remembers it, but that's interesting because when did is this? I don't know. I was just listening to it. It's like okay, it would have been added and not something natural. If you understand, the coding had to be added by something that wasn't natural. Oh, but I'll say, even if it rains tomorrow, that's okay. I got my workout in. Had to order my knee brace. I need a double knee brace. because just the patella brace isn't good enough. I found the perfect ones that it's like 2 patella ones together, and I can't find them anywhere. They're not in my car. They're not anywhere. So I probably need just walk tomorrow. Maybe I'll just get on the Northflex, do some inclines on it. Still do my stretching. My back felt much better. 10s unit every day now. Throw the 10s unit on it. And I don't know how anybody lives without a 10s unit. And a thermal gun. Whatever kind you want to call it, but I have to have those. 10s unit and thermal gun, stretching every day, rollers. Like downstairs, I can't, like I can sit on this couch for longer than I can sit on this sectional longer than I can the one downstairs. I can't sit on it, it's too low. I mean, it's really too low and the angle really hurts my back. This one I can sit on a little longer, and hence this chair. This chair doesn't hurt my back. It gives me perfect support. That's why I can sit here in 3-4 hours, but I still take pee breaks and stuff, but it gives me better support. So I'm probably going to get something like this downstairs. But see, we got cats. We got a cat that ain't declawed. Because, I can't let the female cat come in here because she likes wires. And, these are expensive wires. So they stay out of here. Gosh. Maybe I feel like I should do something for the full moon, but I don't feel the enchantment of what I should do, how I can give something out. It's this full moon energy is, and remember, we're between the full moon and there's a type of lunar eclipse going on, but also Venus is there in Taurus. And so it is a very strong feminine, as you understand. Let me see. I can face this way. And I'll start picking up stuff. Put my hand out the way. Mars. And so Mars, I wouldn't be able to see Mars, but here's Leo. Yeah, because Cancer is rising. Cancer is rising. Okay, so we got the Mars is in Gemini. What is this? Here's Venus. And Venus, yeah. So we got Venus going into the horns of Taurus. Yeah. So maybe that was Mars I saw earlier. I thought it was Venus. I think it was Mars. All right. So you got Venus going into the horns of Taurus, followed by Mars, but yet Mars is not totally in the war. Mars is in the twins. And then we've got the Cancer rising. So, and the moon is going to be way over. And the moon is in Virgo. So, the moon is in Virgo. So, doing the pat down, what the old person pat down, people be like, where are my keys, So just use this time, I'm sorry I didn't have anything special, and I'm not going to be on late tomorrow. Maybe if it's raining around 12:30, I'll, smoke out the pipe or something. That's what I could do, since I'm not doing a late show tomorrow because I don't come on Friday nights. That's date night. So, me and my fiance is kicking it tomorrow night for sure. So I might come on if I get up. Again, I'm going to bed in the next couple hours. So we can do something maybe around 12:30. If you want to do something, I'll get the bowls out and I'll play the sounds live. And for those of you that want to, manifest, yeah. because it's a great time to manifest. We've got a lot of great energy, a lot of these great solar things are happening that we can get a piece of. So even this is kind of how they do it too. So yes, a lot of this is for others to benefit from, but yet it's a cycle that you can't deny that we all can benefit from it. I mean, there's you see what when these occurrences happen, it definitely does something to everyone. There's energy being moved, and no one can deny that energy is being moved in these events. And so therefore, what has happened is the normal people have been able to take advantage too. Because real or fake of this reality, when they release this energy, it's released. When they make moves like this to release energy, it's released, and it's like for those that can hold on and grab some. I mean, if it's just charging up your stuff, it's just charging up your crystals. If it's not raining, and it's gonna be raining, so I don't know if I'm gonna take everything outside, but I might. I'm definitely gonna have all these windows open, so during that time, the moon energies can start kissing everything. And so that's how. That's just a small part of magic that everybody can tap into without being sophisticated in it. It's something safe, because that's a lot of times people look at things as like, is it safe? Like if I hold this crystal or sleep with it, is it safe? If you understand. So let a little of that sun in and rub it in. Let it soak. Let it soak in.
I think very deeply.
That's right. Think very deeply. Speaking of moons, my native name, medicine name is Seven Moons Epic Peaceful Warrior. The number associated with planets Venus is 7, while the number 7 and the moon are connected to Aset. Oh, okay. Okay. My name basically trying to think what is the best way. The book is over there, but my name basically would be, where are we at? 10, 14. 12, the next one. Manic. Yeah, because my name, like my Mayan name, would be 13. What is it? Because you can look up your date of birth and you can see what your Mayan name, because that's why, like, his name, one of his names is Kanich Janin, but like when you went and look at a wind and a deer, they actually, like, his like when the Mayans started switching, like even when you look at Jaguar Spine, one of the Omen kings, one of the last Omen kings, when you look at Jaguar Spine, that his name is the Mumps, so I can't quite remember. I'd have to remember how to do that, and it's another book that these books don't have that explanation. The book behind me has it explained a little better. So yeah, so we can have all that kind. We can use all that kind of energy too. So Solana have both studied the teachings of Bobby. It's joyful to find friends of similar vibes, frequencies online. Indeed. I mean, I wish my brother would have more time, because my brother's great. He really is. He's great. And he would be super. But, this platform has harassed him so much and tried to kill his spirit of teaching. For some reason, it does certain teachers like that. It's like it only wants, certain information passed on. And I don't know if you're going to go beyond that. This thing wants to, like we know how idiotic some of this stuff is. They say that makes money on this. And it just, at some point, it's not believable because, you know, we look at this stuff and it's like, it's no way anybody would believe this. It's no way that this can make or attract all that energy you claim it does. It's just no way. So we know they fake it and they make who they want to make. I know that sounds pretty ignorant, but that's what it is. It's like they create dummies. Oh my goodness. This is like the whole bag. I didn't mean to make this mess. Ooh, another one. Ooh, keep that. It's cotton. It's too big. I think it is. It's too big. That's not that one. Can't use that one. Got this shit all over. Oh, here's the bag I was looking for. My cards in there. Well, I think I'm going to take a quick break. Probably can use that. Use the bathroom and such. Okay. These are 2 big ropes. All right. So I'm going to give you a blast from my past. Please give me a second. Excuse me while I funk. Drinking all this water. Water makes you have to pay. You dig? Ay, 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 yo. Ay, 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 ay. Who that, 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 try to mess up with my crew. I'm legendary in this motherfucker. Alright. Oh, I love that kind of stuff. Well, damn, okay. Oh, there it is. Ay, 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 yo. Ay, 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 yo, yeah. Who that, 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 who? Yeah, yeah. All right. Give you a little of this while I go take a quick break. Be right back. Oh. So maybe because of the gold, they got that. Remember, they got that system where they call it. You remember Ronald Reagan called it Star Wars, where they gave Israel that system. They want it over in Ukraine. They want that Star Wars system to send them missiles up and blocks missiles from coming in. They got that kind of stuff. So the black trucks in the area the night before. Wow. Okay. Wow. Hey, there's my brother. What are you doing up so late? I know it's late for you. But thank you, Quian Redface. That is my younger brother. Badon Play, thank you for joining me. The black trucks in the area the night before. Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow. But I mean, you guys are suffering a lot of the crime that a lot of the places are suffering from. It was a little bit here. Here it's they've got feds here because of the crime. You know, they're going after the switches, the people that have the switches, and switches are fairly cheap. You can 3D print switches now, which is definitely the military wants. They're calling automatic pistols machine guns. That's what the guy had. He had a press conference today, and he's like, "We're going to take drugs and machine guns off the market." That's what they said. Drugs and machine guns. Pistol ain't a machine gun. A pistol only has a range of what? 60, 70 yards? It ain't like a rifle that might be able to shoot you a mile away. Not like that. And remember, the world record for a rifle is 4 miles. A guy shot well, again, you can go into Iraq and they got records of how of people that have killed people from the furthest away. You get a little bit of that in the in American Sniper. You get a little bit of guys having those long shots. But American Sniper, remember that part where he sounded like a punk? Oh, thank you, Divine Networking. That is so kind of you. Thank you for joining. But you remember that he was ready to come home when they were shooting at his ass. His ass was ready to come home. I'm ready to come home now, baby. It was like that pepper was put on him. They were shooting all around him. And they shooting all around. He's on this phone like, I'm ready to finally come home. Okay. So when you was just sitting there shooting a mug from 800 yards away, you didn't want to come home then. But now that heat's on you, you want to come home. So remember that part of American Sniper. But yeah. I know Jeffrey was asking. I finally started watching Prey. Oh, let me say Day Shift. This is something my girl caught. She said that when we were watching Day Shift with Jamie Foxx, the little girl looks almost 2 years older in the beginning of the movie. She's like almost 2 years older. And what's interesting is when they do a picture in the beginning, the picture is of her younger. She's younger in the picture, and that's how she is. So it's almost like they stopped shooting. I don't know if it was COVID, because one guy spits gum into the other guy's face. I don't know if they started filming this movie before COVID. I don't know, but the girl appears quite older in the beginning of the movie than she does at the end. She almost goes back in age. It appears like almost 2 years. So if y'all caught that. But I watched a little bit of Prey. We watched all but 20 minutes. The white face, though, the white split face, the stripes shows you're a hunter, but the white split face shows you that, the Indians is really, the natives is really white, is what you're seeing. That's why you see the white on this side, the native on this side. It's telling you that, yeah, they used to be like this, but now they like this. That's interesting that they put that in people's face. But it was good seeing them Europeans getting wiped out by the Predator. We need Predators. Where was Predators when we needed them? Why wasn't the Predator here when they first came? I say if we go back in history, we bring the Predators on our side, and when these Europeans come, the Predators, go get them, Predators. Got a little bit of again, going with the different terms of vampires. Seeing that's why you see the white on this side, the native on this. Was cooler towards. Got a little bit of again, going. If y'all caught that. But I watched a little bit of Prey. We watched all but 20 minutes. The white face. All right. I wanted to go get me some munchies. How long? Oh, yeah, I'll go about another 10, 15 minutes. I was just thrilled watching myself. Do you see what I see? Okay, there we go. No, that is not where we go. I can take that off anyway. All right. Yeah. Oh, gotta shut you up, buddy. All right. The biblical story of the Star Wars program is built for threats from outer space, intergalactic war. The biblical story of Lucifer and his angels being defeated by Michael and his angels is actually the story of ancient intergalactic war. Okay. Well, I mean, you can even say you look into that as Anunnaki. You look at when Marduk has the emerald in his head and he fights his uncle, not Iniki, but Iniki's son, Kay. It's that thing too, when Marduk has that emerald cut off his head. You could look at that as that kind of thing as well. That story. So, and the fall is also, the fall of the dumbed down of man. That's another way to look at it, because man had to be obviously much more advanced. So it's also the fall is the dumbing down, the going, instead of, because time is ancient, And so we're not, we think we're going up in time, but actually time is going the other way. And it just shows you people are dumber and dumber. You know, people are dumber and dumber. People have been purposely dumbed down. What's interesting is, you know, when we're in the information age, but yet people are being dumbed down. Don't know simple little facts anymore. Like the simplest little things, people, you know, young people don't even know. And something simple is not being able to even to write in cursive. And society backing that, saying because of computers you don't need to write anymore. That's what it is. Why they quit teaching it. 4 of my sons cannot write in cursive. My only son that can write in cursive is, I think, my 25-year-old, and he can't write that good either. Well, he's 28. I'm sorry. But my oldest son at 33, they said he didn't have to write. So therefore, when my other children was there, it was the same thing. The only reason my youngest son, my son that's 6'8", that y'all see, you know, you see the most on here, only reason he learned how to write cursive is because he saw it as a challenge. He saw how I wrote my name, and he's like, show me how to do my name like that. So, you know, he just took it as initiated, and he was never taught it by anybody but me. But well, that's all they really teach you is how to sign your name. But he learned how to write in it. I don't know, I'm trying to be, you know, I bought all this string but I just don't think my glue is strong enough. My gift. Sticky shit. I do have the munchies. I also experienced vision dreams from the Akashic Library records. I've been called Kansanusu Nefer Hepti by other editor, Cosmic Divine Beings. I've been on panels in which I've met several numbers of devolved, dumbed down Negro. You know, it's funny. I've never been much with panels other than I think it was Super Sly and Darkman X. That was the only one I've been consistently on. Now, when my phone, my talk shoe, I've been on several panels and had several people, but shoot, that was back in, I don't think I've done talk shoe. Well, yeah, when I had, before my daughter broke my laptop, I still had my talk shoe going, but then I changed cable companies, and I couldn't do both at the same time anymore. Because I think Edward called in, or Macbone called in a few times. So, but running out of stuff to say. But hey, I'm gonna do 2 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna do a good 2 hours tonight. So, well, I'll say Akashic Records is kind of like this for anybody. If you want to kind of know what it is, Wes Paneri, he really gives a good idea of how that would come across. The movie Soul is another idea, you know, and the way that Wes Paneri puts it together, he puts it together kind of like after place to learn how to be dead and how to look back at events and look back into your DNA for a better understanding. There is, as I said, you know, my personal, the way it was first given to me is I had to go into, and if you don't remember how newspapers were made on a giant conveyor belt that sometimes was 3 or 4 floors. And this belt went through the whole plant. You know, the old newspaper, the way they made it was like this giant belt. Well, that was the way I had to go see my Akashic Records. I don't know who put it that hard for me. And it really wasn't hard, but it was like I had to climb up on this platform. I had to look down, and it's like I didn't take the papers, but the records I was looking for was like right there. And so it would only show me so much. I had to get down, walk to another section, climb up, and then the other parts. So that's kind of what they put me through to acquire some of that. But it all, like once you acquire it, it all goes to where you're going. Like when you meditate, whatever you're seeing the most is kind of telling you that's where you're going. And I want to say this too is it seems like dementia. It looks like part of to consider is your gut, because there's proteins I guess that come from this, and so she legit copper-based water, alkaline, consider this stuff. As I said, they now they're saying if you pick your nose, you cut too much of your nose hairs, that these kind of bacteria that come from this stuff. And again, where does it come from? Who generates this that it can even attack you? Because if we have a world of people that forget when they get older, they don't know how to go where they need to go. Because they can't have people not just coming back. Because that's what they want, people that want to study reincarnation. I mean, that's being a child over and over again. That's starting over. And so why would any magical person want to keep doing that? You just wouldn't want to, because you see you're not advancing. You're spinning a wheel. Good. All right. So, well, I'm right at 2 hours, y'all. Right at 2 hours. Sometime one has to astral travel, project to higher dimensions, reality access, this Cosmic Library, fast and meditation, yoga, Qigong, and Tai Chi are great preparation for one's. Well, yeah. Well, that goes into, making your body light as possible. Because the other part is, there was a few years ago where it was saying, you're trying to decalcify your third eye. So if that's a possibility too, there's things that you can do, because again, once this is open, really doesn't really, I've had this open as much beer as I drink and shit. Again, not the day I do it, but it's like days before I've drank, and this still all blows open. So on people's path, it should be like, I'll say this, it should be like you should be, again, this is a lifetime of trying to learn where you belong, spiritually where you belong. And there are, like I've showed before, see, this stuff started coming to me. And I know this isn't very graphic because it's in crystal form. But, these Virgin fractals started coming to me. And, putting together that. But what was more was this was coming. And all these fractals was coming. I was getting just bits and pieces. Like when I first saw this, I was like, damn, this is what I'd be seeing. I'd be seeing this. And even after seeing this, because at the time I didn't have the bread, so I had to come back another day, like a couple weeks later, and it was still there. And what's funny is, again, when you given these fractals, you really don't even know what they look like. Because after seeing this and saying, okay, when I have some money, I'm going to come back and get this. And even going back to get this, I couldn't even remember what it looked like. I had to see it over and over again and say, oh, but these fractals were given to me. And so like what I've learned is when you're moving, and I don't know if everybody can reach this, but like what I've learned is when you're in purple, a deep purple vibration, that's moving. That's how you move. Like even with the czar, the czar is the most black purple that you could ever see. But even that, that purple, when you start seeing that black purple, you'll start seeing, you start seeing stuff the way the czar world works. And it's really, something that the way that works is even closer to the way reincarnation works, the way to possess people. It's very similar because you actually see, going through it. It's not always just about like they try to tell you that these certain beings, can just be around you and just jump into a person. But it's, if you think about like going into the czar world, instead of just saying it's just one person that this entity can jump into, you can get into a vast amount of worlds that might be more beneficial for you to jump into whatever you need to learn from doing it. If that can be comprehended. But going back into when you find out where you belong, once you start, when all this is really blowed out and the fractals are all given to you and you start understanding them, you should end up at the same place every time. Again, going to Akashic Records is going somewhere else. But even that, when you go to where you're supposed to go, that comes with you. And then you would be able to find that there. Because one thing from messing with skulls, I was able to tap into the skull library. And so now, when I first got pulled into the skull library, I had to work with the skulls. But now, when I go where I belong, the skull library is there. So I don't have to sit there and, try to manifest, try to go into that. It's already part of where I belong. And so there's nothing this thing can do to scare me. Because the biggest thing is death. That's its Big Bang. The Big Bang is death. Death and erasing it. Death and suffering. And that's the other problem, with being able to go to multi dimensions, multi realities. Is see people talk about going to these realities and it's all great and they got uplifted, but some of this shit is darker than a motherfucker. I mean, some of this stuff is like it's tragedy feeling. And I can't say that this kind of thing can be avoided. I really don't think it sometimes can be avoided. It's just like you want to go so far, and it's like, hey, okay, you want to go so far, okay. Let's see how far you can really go. How are you going to act when this happens? And then can you learn the lesson that that equates to now? Because that's what this higher touching into has to help you with. It's like you have these adventures or whatever you call it, and then you still have to apply it to this. Up until the point when they take this away. And you're prepared. Which goes back to my original rap. You gotta try to stop this dementia stuff. Again, I don't sell Motivite, but this helps. I was at a store and it's like you can get a little piece for about $100 to wear around your neck, but I'm saying it'll be the best $100 you get. I think Siova said he had a small piece. That's all you need. That's all you need. But if you wear it all the time, you'll see the benefits of it. Because it's one of the few things out there that can fight this type of demon that wants to erase your memory. Because if you're sitting peaceful and you're around your loved ones and you remember it, because what happens is with dementia is they put you in the dream world early. They put you in that death world early. Because remember what it does is you can remember shit from the past. So that's where they trap you. Because you can remember, you just can't remember what you're doing right now. And what kills you is your body quits remembering how to live. Starts shutting down. And so you want to do little things now to stop that from happening. Daydreams are cool, but being here now is better. Because you know, when you daydream a lot and then you stop, there's things that want you to keep daydreaming. Any of you ever experienced that? Or if you think about somebody and then the daydream comes because you think about something. You're used to these kind of traps by now. You should be. Because like I was over by the casino and like one of the roads are about to close in a couple of weeks. So I'm just already getting used to going a certain way. And just the weirdest thought came to my mind while I was over there. And I was like, wow, why would that even come into me? But it's like, again, I'm on this land and it's someone I know over there. And it's like, why did that thought of this person even come into my mind? I just thought it was very weird. It's like, no, I don't want to play. I want to be here now. I want to enjoy this minute. I want to enjoy this minute with you guys sitting in my room around all my magic and all my loved ones. I love this right now. I have everything I need. And what I have, I'm happy I have. And so I face each moment with joy. Because I've done enough right to be sitting where I'm sitting now. Oh, okay. Lorenzo came in. Did I cover the news of the leader of the Proud Boys coming in? No, I didn't. Yeah, I don't care about that. But yeah, I saw that they were sentenced. It's not a lot to say about that. You know, it's like, what can we say about that? Because all of that was government interaction, FBI agreeing to it. So it's like that goes to the fake and real at the same time stuff. Some of that stuff was real. Some of it was fake. So it goes into that. It goes into absolutely that is fake and real at the same time. So, and again, you know, Trump was the one that said the name. So, you know, they want to tie that to him. So if they can hurt that name that he put out there, they're trying to do everything they can to stop people from, I don't know, maybe people need to vote for the Kennedy dude because Biden, I mean, you see where he's taking things. I mean, it's really interesting what liberalism has turned into. It has turned into so much of bleeding heartness, of and I don't really want to get into it, but it's like it's almost the non-family. Like you could say in some ways liberals tend to be non-family now. They want to do anything they can to break up families. Hey Key, what's happening? Thank you for joining me. Study the 7 Principal Truths helps me out a lot. The books detailing the 7 Principal Truths, mental alchemy, mental transmutation, and the Kabbalah of the 3 initiatives. Thank you. Thank you. Foods are used to decalcify pineal gland are bananas, pineapple, avocados, and coconut products, especially coconut oil or coconut water. And that's one thing. And She Legit too. I've got to order some more She Legit. I've got a little piece left that was once like a giant piece, but I got to order. And I used to get these kind of She Legit. I mean, if you don't keep it down, it gets hard. But I think this is what I get now is a little raw. And again, you're putting this mineral in your body that helps your third eye. There's not a lot of things you can put that, but this She Legit helps it. And the way it helps it is, like if you're one to get visions, it really gives the visions clear. I don't know any other way to say it. Like again, if you want to go into your caustic records, this is a great mineral for that. For those that you can, you know. just to give you a brief way that it could be this simple for you. If you can go, you can close your eyes, and then you can cut off all the rest of the noise, and then you can really project yourself in a beautiful hallway covered with wood panel on both sides. And if you can put yourself there, that's the start. And as you look at the doors, you see, weird symbols, and then one symbol you open up, and you go into that room, and you feel an energy of family and peace and connection. And it could be something like a picture or books or even a file cabinet or even just an old picture book. You start looking through the pictures. And this is when, you going through your DNA and your family history. So for some, it can be that easy to tap in to some of these ancestors and what they left with you. And it's a real thing to have your blood or your clone continue. Gotta find that. What is that from? Yeah. Where is that coming from? I have to mess with this stuff again. Hearing that. Yeah. Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Oh, maybe here. Okay. It is, I can live with it. It's good enough. So I'm gonna cut the show, guys. I'm gonna try, if I'm up by 12:30, depends on what time I go to sleep. It is 2:30, so if I can get to bed before 4, I'll probably be up before noon. And maybe we'll, do some smoking around 12:30 when the peak of the full moon energy. And since I don't come on, I don't go on Friday night because that is date night, that I won't be coming on tomorrow night at this time, but I'll be back on Saturday night. Yeah, I'm going to be gone, so I don't know if I can do any lives. Maybe Lobo will do a live, so check him out if he's doing a live during the game. I don't know if I'm going to have time. I'm going to be in and out all weekend. So, yeah. But I think with that said, I definitely can give a divination. Well, let's see. Let's see. What is it? Ain't what I try. Oh, here we go. 7. Yes. Right here. All right. I don't know if I can find a picture of this. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. 7. Where is 7 in the book? It's 8, so it's got to be here. The warrior. Simi. Let's see. Maybe I can find that. Let's see if I can find that. Here we go. Let's see if it'll give me a picture of it so I can put the information out a little stronger. Oh, it's a cool picture. Let's see. Let's see what that brings up. Ah, here we go. All right, this is it. Simi, or 7. And Simi is, this is the first card of the mental realm, and the warrior's self-contained, poised, ready, and may come. The warrior's a state of choiceless awareness. The jaguar seemed to be precipitation of the black and white columns in the priestess card. Let me see. Simi might be best represented. this I might be able to give you a better. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Yes. 6. All right. Semi is also called deer. All right. Semi also is called deer or mastal. That is what the symbol says for it. As we can see, and the mastal represent the quest for spiritual vision. The deer will bring the vision as long as we undertake all the steps and tasks that must be accomplished before the deer reveals itself. Getting this card is to tell the seek the vision that will show you what task and what path of heart will be from now on until the vision is fulfilled. At the time for another vision will come to you. The quest for a vision is an old spiritual practice among people of Shamatic traditions all over the world and throughout history. It's performed in many ways and is in accordance with the cultural background of the seeker, but the basic element is isolation in the wilderness for one more day or so, or just in a room by yourself, often including fasting, praying, singing, or dancing. The intent is to call the great spirit to bring us a vision to direct our life from then on. Masil suggests that the spiritual initiation, awakening of a higher state of awareness, it is an omen to call. It is up to you to find out how you will respond to that call. Yeah. So the power of the deer, the power of Semi. Let's see if this gives a better. Let's see what he says about this. All right. Where are we at? Where are we at? Come on, come on. Wow. All right. See if there's anything I can get out of this that I can share with anybody. Ooh. Really? That's some BS. All right. Finally found it. See if there's anything else I can offer for those who seek. Don Juan said that the Nago Alas explained to him what the distinguished normal people is that we have a metaphorical dagger, the concerns of self-reflection. With this dagger, we cut ourselves and bleed, and the job of our chains of self-reflection to give us the feeling that we are bleeding together, that we are sharing something wonderful in our humanity. But if we were to examine it, we would discover that we are bleeding alone, that we are not sharing anything at all. What we are doing is toying with the manageable, unreal, man-made reflection. Yeah, so that's all I can add right now. Can't really add anything to that. Then we see a picture here of the great Bacall. This is when he was younger. There's another picture here of the great Bacall, which is the image behind me. See, Kanich Janib Pakal, Starface. Kanich Janib, Starface. This is the guy behind me. That's another picture of him. They found a more recent picture where he's old. I think I probably have to go to my page to find it. But he's all over. And a lot of people see what he did is when he buried himself, he made himself an oracle. And so, as an oracle, he's open to that. Because again, the oracles were the guides. You know, before you go do something, you go talk to the guide. And so he's already opened himself up if you study this cat. So when I tapped into this, you know, he was already open to, you know, he's already open because that's what he is. He's oracle. So when I tapped into it, it's like, hey, you know, it's been a long time. People don't tap into it anymore. Him sitting on the jaguar throne. This is his mother. I do remember. So yeah, so be the deer. Move through time. And with that, y'all gonna have to plant me now and dig me later.
And
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
Thank you guys. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your super funky host, Big Pontiac, as I push out the Condolene.